Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by X Insurance. X Insurance. From the SIG Sauer Studios. On the Patriot Mobile Platinum Microphone. Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Welcome in, everybody. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now. You're on the Armed American Radio Network with me here in the SIG Sauer Studios. All of it being brought to you by the great X Insurance. And we're here at the Patriot Mobile Ranch. Greg in Dallas, Texas. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. It's almost Friday.
Yeah, it's almost Friday, and the Epstein list is coming out. The announcement was made yesterday. Some of it.
Drips.
Phase one.
Drips.
We don't know how many phases there are, right?
Yeah. I hope the end phases, we get to see them all perp walk.
Okay, well, don't jump ahead of me now.
Well, there we go.
We're going to go there. Greg's all excited about this, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to debunk the left. Yesterday we were discussing some defensive gun use cases, which are always fun to talk about. And I found a story that I actually covered a year ago this month on the American Progress or Center for Progress, whoever the leftists are over there. I'll catch up with it in just a second when we go to the page. But they try to debunk the defensive gun use as a myth. Really? I've used a gun defensively. Am I a myth? I don't know. Well, we're going to go into that too. But I do want to spend some time talking about the Epstein thing because there's a lot of nervous people out there right now, as there ought to be. But before we do that, Greg, would you be kind enough to tell us where to go to watch the program? Because we're live on lots of platforms and participate in the chat. We can get started.
Sure. If you want to watch the show, you can head on over to Rumble, YouTube, and Fascist Book. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters over at X. It's AAR Mark. You can join our live chat if you head on over to your app store, grab the Telegram messaging app, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, jump in over there. It's always a lot of fun. So last night, I did something I don't normally do. I don't like to watch news at night. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You see enough of that stuff during the day. You follow me? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I see enough of that stuff. I try to chill out from some of that. But Bondi, I did get an alert that Bondi was going on Jesse Waters, so I flipped it on and caught the live interview. And, of course, she flat out said on breaking news here, we're going to get Epstein files tomorrow. Now, Greg, you and I were talking off air yesterday in between breaks about this whole deal, right? And how we want to see cuffs, we want to see perp walks, we want to see orange jumpsuits. And I'm not going to name names of who I'd like to see in those jumpsuits because I haven't seen the list. I'll wait until the list comes out, and then we'll go happy on it. But I can guarantee you there's a lot of Hollywood folks and a lot of folks in D.C. that are nervous right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would assume D.C., Hollywood, and, I mean, let's put it like this, possibly foreign countries, globally.
Yeah, that, according to Bondi yesterday, I'll quote her, she said it was sick what's getting ready to come out. Now, I understand some folks have the binders already. There were a couple media influencers, that already had the binder. She's already passed it on. So it's out there. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't leaked yet. I have a feeling that while we're live today, we're going to get some alerts on that and probably be able to let you know that that's popped. That normally would happen about this time during the day, which, wouldn't be unusual. So what do you expect to see here? What's Greg looking for? Because I have a feeling you represent the minds of a lot of listeners.
Well, I mean, obviously, like a lot of people, I am kind of in the dark on a lot of what they have. I am, I know there's been investigations in previous years where Epstein was convicted that was assisted by Trump at a certain point by, him cooperating with the investigation. I don't believe he had a lot of information on the guy, but I think he gave him everything they had. Lots of other people obviously testified to other things. So I would like to have more information strictly about the case entirely, but we know that there are big names on that list. There are big names of people that are probably presidents, secretaries of states, attorney generals, definitely Hollywood actors that everyone knows. elite around the globe. And when I use the word elite, I'm talking about leadership. These people really aren't elite. They're just scumbags in positions of power. And so I want names. I want to know who the dirtbags are. I want to know who the child traffickers are. I want to know who's been raping children and stuff like that on Epstein Island and who's been getting paid off and bribed and blackmailed by this individual that are in our government and is in Hollywood. And, government not necessarily always on the federal level. This could be state level corruption also. And so I want to know. I want to know who I can look at and just call them an absolute scumbag, and I can't wait until they're arrested and until they get the perp walk and are convicted and then sent to whatever hellhole they get to spend the rest of their life in.
Let me ask you this. It's hard to make a broad brush really on any particular topic, but I'm going to ask this question to you because you're here, and listeners to you as well. So think about this. Would you normally consider anybody that was on that flight log guilty of a crime?
Probably.
Probably is probably the best answer. Here's why. There's probably some people out there that just thought that hanging out with Epstein might not have known what he was all about, thought it was cool hanging out on a billionaire who had an island and a big jet, and they might have thought something different. Now, so walk with me here. They show up at the island. How come nobody's come out publicly and stated what they saw? Why didn't that come out?
Because they're in the tapes.
Yeah, no, we don't know how many people are on it yet, right? Presumably, look, as far as victims, according to Bondi last night, there were over 200 victims. Part of the reason that she said that those tapes have not come out yet is because they were protecting victims, which I completely understand. You and I discussed that during the break before the show began. And I get that. A lot of minors on there. They want to make sure that no personal information is coming out. And I think you capitulated a little bit and agreed that you could understand why that would be the case and maybe cause a delay because that list of names might have been a lot bigger than we had anticipated, right?
Yeah. Look, the scope of this is going to be huge. And I totally understand. Like I'm very impatient about this. Epstein died in 2019. 2019, he was murdered in his cell by the cell guards that worked in that part of the prison. Everybody, you should know this. If they haven't come out and said it, and you need that to confirm that the guards in the cell killed him, well, they turned off the cameras and they were asleep, so they had something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, ladies and gentlemen, there's no coincidence here. If you believe, I don't believe, maybe some people do believe, there's no doubt in my mind that he did not commit suicide in jail. The cameras
he was
were,
murdered.
I mean, all of this points to all of the garbage we've been lied about in Washington for so many years. Don't believe your lying eyes, right?
Yep.
Oh, I know you saw that. But these are people that will look at you at midnight and tell you the sun is shining and then call you a liar if you call them out on that and have you thrown out of the press briefing for calling them out on, even though it's clearly dark out and it's after midnight. These are evil people. Evil exists. We've talked about it for years on this program. Evil is very real. Yeah, it is going to be fascinating to see. Hopefully some of this comes out while we're live on the air today. I would love to talk about this if it pops. But good heavens, there's a lot of very nervous people of all political persuasions, I'm going to say. I think you'll agree with me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I don't expect there to be like a dropped itemized list today. Unless someone is sitting down right now, one of the people that have been given a copy of the first phase.
Why shouldn't we get that now? What are they waiting for?
I don't think it's presented to them that way. I don't think the first phase of that in that notebook that they were handed to, I don't think it's presented to them that way. I think there's a lot of other information in there now. It would take someone to sit down and maybe copy and paste and, scan it in and then reorganize it so it can say, hey, this is the list of people. I have a wholehearted part of me thinks that they'll probably just give out a bunch of names of victims that they've redacted. I mean, who knows what they've got? Because we haven't had any of the folder said on social media, someone open it up and say, here's my camera, here's the folder, let me swipe pages over and let you look at it as I just turn the pages, and you can pause it and read what's on each page.
Yeah, I'm shocked that at this point you haven't seen somebody come out and say, man, I thought I was just going on a weekend excursion with a billionaire that might have been able to help me out. And this is what I saw. I'm surprised we haven't seen any of that. I really am, because apparently there were lots of people that went there.
Once one person starts talking, it starts a whole waterfall of people starting to get questions and talk to.
Yesterday we were talking about snowballs, right?
Yep.
It snowballs right down the hill. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens here. More to talk about. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in fascinating times. There is no question about it. No question about it. It's a crazy time to be alive. Trump moving at breakneck speed. A lot of nervous people in and around Washington, D.C. and Hollywood right now, can promise you that. And around the world, as Trump was mentioning. We'll be back on the Armed American Radio Network right after the break. Don't go away. Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back to the show indeed. Welcome back to the 6 Hour Studios. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here at the Patriot Mobile Communication Microphone. It's all brought to you by the great X Insurance. And Greg, ask me how many cups of Defender coffee I had this morning to start my day today.
How many cups of Defender coffee did you have to start your day?
I had 3 cups of Defender coffee today over the course of about an hour in the morning. That's very unusual for me.
That's pretty fast.
That's a lot of coffee.
Quick, too.
Yeah, I had one of those weird nights where I fell asleep really early and woke up at about 10 o'clock and thought it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was only 10 o'clock. And I thought, oh. And you ever have that happen? And then you fall asleep hard again and wake up about an hour later, think it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's not even midnight yet? That's what happened to me last night. So needless to say, I kept waking up all night for some weird reason. And it's because I didn't take my sleep stuff, my Patriots relief stuff last night. That could have had something to do with it. But I was in desperate need of Defender coffee today. And the cool part about that is when I drink Defender coffee, I support the Second Amendment Foundation. So the more cups I drink, the more support they get because I wind up buying more bags. You know how that goes, right? So, guys, you can do it too. DefenderCoffee.com. A lot of the people here on the program drink Defender coffee. It's the real deal, and you can support your favorite gun rights organizations. I support the SAF and the Gun Owners of America simply by buying coffee. Greg, we were talking about Epstein. We'll go back to that maybe later. I have a feeling you know what? Let's stay, because during the break you had mentioned that there was something on Twitter. Read what you just told me. Let's just go there before we move, because I want to talk about Gene Hackman too. That's weird.
Yeah, there's an individual saying on Twitter, on X, saying that they have seen the released Epstein files and the world is going to change tomorrow. Well, I mean, here, quote, I just saw the leaked Epstein files. Get ready for the world to change tomorrow. What does that even mean?
I don't know. That's what
Run
I'm
a
thinking.
video.
What does that mean? Why?
There's no need for that tweet at all.
Why would the world change? We probably already know what's coming. It's just going to be, we're going to codify it. We're going to see it. Why would the world? I don't know. That's a weird tweet. Hopefully something pops on this while we're live on the air. We're keeping our eyes out for the alerts. I got to go to Gene Hackman for a minute. We're going to cover this defensive gun debunking thing here in a minute, but there's just some really weird stuff going on out there today. Not that Gene Hackman is going to be a conspiracy theory or anything like that. I don't know, Greg, unless he had something big on somebody, but yeah, I doubt it. We see all the movies with Gene Hackman. I've always liked him as an actor. And I don't know. Do you know anything politically about Gene Hackman? I don't think I do.
No, he's done a great job of minding his business outside of just being a good actor.
And he's, the Western stuff that he's done has been great. And I'm a big fan of that genre. But, he was found in his home in Santa Fe, New Mexico with his wife. He was 95. So we watch movies with Gene Hackman, and, that's our vision that we have of Gene Hackman, right? We forget that Gene Hackman is 95, and the movie you're watching was made in 1980, right?
Yep.
You forget those things. It's 40 years ago, and he was old then, right? Whatever movie I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying. I'm generalizing here. But that happens with actors and stuff. We forget, and then all of a sudden we see them, and we're like, oh, my God, look how old they are. Well, yeah. They age like everybody else. But he was found, I guess, by some groundskeepers. And the house was locked, and they couldn't get in, but they saw one of the bodies, which was his wife, who was 63. He was 95. She was 63. And I guess they had about 3 German shepherds. And one of the dogs was found dead in a kennel. The other 2 were found alive and roaming around. And they said the bodies were in a terrible state of decomposition. In fact, there was evidence of mummification in the hands and legs of both bodies. So when we were talking yesterday, usually when you see, and we cover a lot of crime on this program, right?
Yep.
The first thing that goes through my head was murder-suicide. That's the first thing that goes through my head. 95-year-old, 63-year-old. He's at 95. Maybe he got some really bad, medical diagnosis. But you're 95, man. I mean, that's not unexpected at 95. Hell, you're lucky to live to 95, or are you? I don't know. Okay, maybe you're not. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. Don't know what condition he was in, but he was 95 years old. Death at 95 is not a shock to anybody, except when it comes in conditions like this. Then the other thing that goes through your head is what you and I were talking about yesterday. If it wasn't that, it was likely some type of gas leak, CO2, right? That's fairly common.
Yeah, carbon monoxide is
monoxide poisoning or something, some type of gas
often
leak.
a cause.
So again, the murder-suicide thing comes to mind first when you hear some. It's the first conclusion that comes to, at least it does to me. So I start reading a little bit more about this today, and apparently they've ruled out carbon monoxide and gas leak.
Yeah, it's weird.
That is weird, but then that leaves open the other obvious, which would be a murder-suicide, right?
Foul play.
Well, they said yesterday we were talking about it wasn't suspicious. You find 2 dead people and a dead dog, it's suspicious by very nature, particularly if there's no gas leak.
Yeah, and we don't have any details of any kind of gunshots, in the house. No. We don't have any kind of strangulation details. I mean, obviously the coroner's report has not come out yet, and there is a little bit of, since they've been dead for some time, there's a little bit of death that has set in that might obscure potential causes of death. So it's going to be interesting to see if they even come to a quick cause of death on this within a week. I would say would be reasonable, but because they have been dead for a little bit of time, I think that might obscure the cause of death to a pinpoint a little bit. I'm not a coroner, and I'm not a medical professional in this expertise. So
when you were growing up, did you ever think, I think I might want to be a coroner?
I did not. I always thought it was creepy.
It never crossed my mind either. But here's what's interesting. An orange prescription bottle was found near his wife. The bottle was open with pills scattered on the countertop. Now, I take a few medications every day. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably do too. Hopefully you don't. That'd be great. But if you do you ever scatter your medication on the countertop? This is movie stuff, right? Where the bottle is on its side on the counter and it's spilled out and there's pills everywhere. You see movies where somebody's, despondent and they want to kill themselves. They pull it out and they grab the handfuls. They movie that stuff up. But do you think that might have something to do with it? I would guess it does.
I mean, did they give them to the dog too?
Well, this dog was found in a kennel. Now, a kennel. Does that mean a locked cage? Was the dog in a cage? A lot of people keep big dogs in cages, right?
I don't even know what kind of dog it is. I thought I heard German Shepherd. Okay.
They were shepherds, and big ones, and beautiful dogs too. So I'm assuming that because I saw a picture of them with shepherds, that all 3 dogs were shepherds. I could be wrong. The third one could have been a Shih Tzu. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. But if that dog was in the kennel and they were dead for that long a time, it's not unlikely or unusual that dog starved to death.
30. Yeah, it's quite possible.
Okay, if it were locked in a cage, and that's horrible. That's just awful to think about. But the whole Hackman thing, that's weird too. And then just to hear them say there's no foul play. Well, okay, no suspicion, but it's all suspicious just by its very nature. Doesn't mean that there's somebody broke in, they were murdered. The doors were locked, apparently. He was found in a mud room, which is a entranceway off the kitchen where you would take your clothes off or your coats or whatever. And she was found in a bedroom, separated. They said there was evidence, too, that he may have fallen because there was a cane near his body and his glasses had been knocked off. The plot thickens. Anyway, crazy stuff going on out there today. We'll come back right after the break. Don't go away.
Daniel Defense firearms are guaranteed for life, trusted worldwide, and designed, engineered, and manufactured right here in America. Daniel Defense, freedom, passion, precision.
Yeah, welcome back. Daniel Defense is freedom, passion, and precision, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to check them out, DanielDefense.com. Get on their email list. Great emails. Won't bombard your email box. They're the real deal. DanielDefense.com. And you can also support the Double D Foundation there as well, the DoubleDFoundation.org. You can link back and forth. They're together. And the Double D Foundation, I'm very proud and honored to have helped them raise millions of dollars over the last few years in support of the youth shooting sports. And that's a privilege and an honor I'll take with me forever. It's great stuff. The DoubleDFoundation.org and Daniel Defense. Welcome back in. 6 Hour Studios fired up. Patriot Mobile mic lit up for you. X Insurance presenting it all. Greg, during the break, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking a little bit about Gene Hackman and some other movie stars. I commented that I thought it was kind of cool. I really can't, when I think back, I can't think of any positions politically that Hackman took. I could be missing something. It's not like I read Variety and follow, entertainment television or any of that. I don't. But I love a good movie, and I love a good Western, and I'll probably wind up watching Unforgiven again.
Oh, yeah. That's a great movie.
A great movie. Not one of my favorite Clint Eastwood movies, but nonetheless a great movie. And he was in that. And then we got to talking about the movie Open Range with Robert Duvall. I kind of put Robert Duvall in the same category as Gene Hackman, And the movie Open Range. Greg had said he had never seen the movie Open Range. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen it, best Western gunfight scene ever filmed, in my book, is in Open Range. There's about a 30-minute gun battle at the end of that is just epic. Costner and Duvall are phenomenal in that. So if you've never seen that, comes highly recommended. Great gunfight scene, great Western gunfight scene. All right, so I'm done with Hackman and Epstein. Do you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, I mean, there's a great conversation in the chat about Hackman movies. Other than that, we can move on.
He's made some great flicks, man.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. It's really sad what happened. And you do think, and I did think this today, you think a guy like Hackman's made tons of money. He's won a couple Oscars. He lives to be 95 years old, and this is the way he goes out. It's really sad.
It's unfortunate.
I could see at 95 if he fell, and something like that happened. Maybe his wife was so despondent she just took her own life. Who knows?
I can only imagine what the family is feeling getting this news.
Yeah, I hate to hear that because he did make some great movies. There's no doubt about it. And speaking of that, I tried to watch 0 Day with Robert De Niro, and I couldn't do it. I can't even look at the guy anymore. I can't even look at the guy anymore. I tried. I gave it a try. I think I mentioned it the other day. It looks like it's in the same genre as a 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
The miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, let's face it. I'll give this to De Niro. He is a phenomenal actor.
Yeah, Bobby D's got some good movies from back in the 90s and the 80s.
Man,
just
his
phenomenal
movies. He's a great actor. He's got the great scowl. He's got the look. He plays the part really well. But that's the whole deal. He's not a mobster. He's no more of a mobster than John Wayne was a cowboy. They're actors.
Yeah.
He's just a good one. And I hate what he's done to himself because I really enjoyed watching those movies. Now, I kind of put that in the category like Goodfellas and stuff like that. Mm. You've seen him a million times. It really doesn't hurt me to watch him in those again. But I couldn't bring myself to watch him in something new, especially that has a political bend. And in this case, they had the black female president. They're doing the whole woke thing. Gosh. And I couldn't do it. And Angela Bassett played the president. She's a great actress.
She's an incredible actress.
She's an incredible actress. She's made some great flicks. I've loved everything I've ever seen her in. But, okay, enough of the movie. Just the whole politics of this stuff. It saddens me that we're at a point where I just got to a point with him. I just couldn't do it.
And TMZ on AAR wraps up here.
Yeah, there you go. TMZ on AAR. Do we have any news on the Epstein tapes before we go into this defensive gun use stuff?
I do not see anything as that's broke that isn't as from the past 15 minutes. So
wait, now the news on Hackman I just popped up is now suspicious scene. Oh. Okay, so the plot thickens again, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, there's that.
Of course it's suspicious. 2 dead people, dead dog, weeks go by, pill bottle spilled. Yes, of course it's suspicious. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. Oh, good heavens. Open Range. I did get that right. That was Robert Duvall, right? Yeah, it was Robert Duvall. Yeah. Okay, so we yesterday covered some defensive gun uses, which are always fun to cover. We refer to them here on the program as happy ending stories. And John Lott has debunked the left's narrative, I guess is the right word, that never happens. It happened to me. So yeah, it does happen. And the estimates are millions of times a year people use guns to defend their lives. So I went back a little bit and I looked at some of the stuff we had covered over the years, and I have a big download file with all this stuff. And I went back and I found February 12, 2024 from AmericanProgress.org, not a right-wing organization. And I remember a while back we talked about this. I can remember having the discussion. I think we might have had it with John. But it's debunking the guns make us safer myth. Despite arguments from the gun lobby and its allies, guns used for self-defense are not common, beneficial for society, or efficient in deterring mass shootings or criminal victimization. Good God, we don't even have to read the column. We can just look at the subheading there.
Yep.
First of all, the gun lobby and its allies. If they're allies, aren't they part of the gun lobby? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. What's the gun lobby? You know who they're referring to. The big bad NRA.
And manufacturers.
Does that make the Second Amendment Foundation an ally? No. It's part of the gun lobby. Every pro-gun individual organization is part of the gun lobby. Maybe an ally would be gun owners who ally themselves or align themselves with the organizations but might not be members. Okay, whatever. Getting a little bit too far in the weeds there, but guns used for self-defense are not common. Wow. I would say 2.5 million estimated times, and they've never been able to debunk that. Obama's own DOJ tried to debunk it, and the lowest they could get was 180,000 defensive gun uses in a year. That's a lot of defensive gun uses, Greg.
Yeah, it is.
That's multiple times the number of murders there are in the United States every year. By tens of thousands.
Yep.
So how can that not be considered common? Again, pushing the lie that is the narrative they want you to believe. Don't believe your lying eyes. Now, there's no national clearinghouse of defensive gun use statistics. I wish there were. But it's really difficult to report that. So where do you see them? Listener, wherever you happen to be, I can promise you, back in the day, you've either picked up your newspaper, or you've seen it online, or you've read it on your phone, or wherever you get your news, you've seen it on your local evening news, the local story of the defensive gun use that makes the news in the local media. That doesn't make a national database, but it doesn't matter if you live in Spokane, it doesn't matter if you live in Cedar Rapids, it doesn't matter if you live in Tallahassee, it doesn't matter if you live in, I don't know, Canton, Georgia, it doesn't matter if you live in Savannah, Georgia, it doesn't matter if you live in Dallas, Texas. No matter where you've been, you've seen these stories in your local papers, and you've seen them a lot. They're fairly common stories. Multiply them by every single city in the country where this happens. And that's where you get, even Obama's DOJ found 180,000 of these. So it's a bunch of bogus BS. Yes, they are common. It does happen.
30.
And according to this, and we'll cover it when we get back from the break, beneficial, they're not beneficial for society? How? Okay, we're going to leave it at that. We'll come back and tackle that one when we come back. Good heavens, you don't even need to get into the meat of this stuff. You can read the headline and rip it apart from there because they give you enough. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense will be back after this break in about 4 minutes, so don't go away. Again, the headline that we're covering is Debunking the Guns Make Us Safer myth. Despite arguments from the gun lobby and its allies, guns used for self-defense are not common, beneficial for society, or efficient in deterring mass shootings or criminal victimization. We're going to cover the beneficial for society or efficient in deterring mass shootings or criminal victimization. Deterring both of those are, in fact, beneficial for society. We'll be back to talk about it. Don't go away.
This segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Daniel Defense. Visit DanielDefense.com. Now, back to the show.
I wish we had 4 hours today. Good heavens. During the break, and welcome back, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. During the break, a headline pops up here. Pam Bondi sets hard deadline as she accuses Patel's FBI of withholding Epstein documents. Town Hall media is reporting that Pam Bondi is accusing the FBI of withholding Epstein files, apparently at a New York office. And you can go on and on with these headlines, but accuses Patel's FBI of withholding Epstein docs. Yeah, come on. How long's the guy been in office?
A little over a week.
Patel's not withholding squat. Okay, this is deep state actors who know they're screwed when all this comes out, is what's happening. This is the problem with a corrupt organization that is so corrupt, it goes so deep. And to say that this is Patel's FBI. Yeah, all right. Did you want to comment on that before I move on?
I'm surprised they didn't throw Bongino under the bus with that little statement also.
Yeah, well, it won't be long. Give him a couple of days. They'll throw him under the bus as well. No question about it. But this is the stuff that makes it so easy to just hate media, just to hate media. And that's what I love about Leavitt. She's just crushing the media at every twist and turn in her press conference. She openly mocks them right to their face. And it's beautiful. Yep. And she brings in citizen journalists to sit where they would normally sit. I love that. I love what I'm seeing there.
I love that AP has been banned, as they should be. They are, right. They're nothing but a cesspool of idiots.
I mean, come on, we're the big daddy on the block. No, you're not anymore.
You're nobody.
No, you're not. Hold on, I gotta drink some sugar-free Red Bull. Hold on. There we go. That's rule number 1 on live radio, Mike, is never drink carbonated beverages, but whatever. Back to debunking the guns make us safer myth. And if something pops in the next 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, we'll tell you, but who knows? So tell me under what circumstances, let's just use my scenario, because it happened to me. I didn't have to pull the trigger on my gun when 2 people that were trying to get in a car off my front left bumper at about 6:20 in the morning, November 18th of 2002. My daughter was only 2 weeks old, and she'll be 22 now in November. Seems like it was yesterday, but it was 22 years ago. Ridiculous, going on 23 years. But if they had come at me and continued to come at me with a gun pointed at them, and I offed them, let's just say I did that. How is that not beneficial for society? If I just offed 2 criminals that were trying to break into someone's car, do them harm, yank them out, who knows what they were going to do to her? Who knows what they would have done to me? I couldn't move. I had cars on both sides of me, in front of me, and behind me, Greg. How is that not beneficial for society?
It's saved us a bunch of money in trials and housing and food and in the jail, and then everything that comes with, if they don't get shot that day, they may hurt somebody another day.
Right, so exactly. Future victims as well.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, it is beneficial for society. Let me go over to AWR Hawkins at Breitbart News right now. Man shot dead after kicking in door to wrong apartment. Well, he shouldn't have been kicking indoors. And he kicked in the wrong apartment door, all right, and now he's dead. That's beneficial to society. Alleged armed robber flees after woman shoots at him in convenience store. That's beneficial to society. And we could go on and on and on and on and on. Gunman neutralized following active shooter report at Pennsylvania hospital. That was in York, PA. We talked about that. Beneficial to society. Cashier shoots alleged armed robber in Michigan donut store. Beneficial to society. It's beneficial by its very nature, because it's beneficial for those reasons. How can it not be efficient in deterring mass shootings or criminal victimization? Let's take was it the Greenland, Indiana? Was it Greenland? Greenfield, Indiana? Do you remember the name? The mall? The young kid in the mall a couple years ago?
I don't remember.
Green something, Indiana
details.
At the mall.
Yeah.
It escapes me now. It's just popping into my head. I want to use that as an example.
Give me a sec. I'll Google.
Guy walks out of the bathroom with an AR-15, begins opening up at the food court in the mall. Armed citizen drops him, kills him. How is that inefficient in deterring mass shootings or criminal victimization? He just saved countless lives, what could have been dozens and dozens of lives.
Greenwood
because
Park.
he was Greenwood?
Greenwood Park.
Greenwood Park. Okay. Well, I knew there was a green in there.
Elijah Dickin.
That's right. Elijah. That's right. Yeah.
Everybody's
Greenland,
calling him Eli.
Greenfield. What was it? Green what?
Greenwood Park.
Greenwood. Okay. That's beneficial. Wasn't that a beneficial shooting? It absolutely was beneficial. So it's hard. We haven't even gone past the subheading on this thing. But listen to some of the examples they give. On April 13, 2023, 16-year-old Ralph Yarl was sent to pick up his younger twin brothers from a friend's home when an address mix-up nearly cost him his life. After confusing Northeast 115th Street for Northeast 115th Terrace, located 1 block away, Ralph mistakenly rang the doorbell of an armed 84-year-old man. The homeowner instantly opened fire on the teen through a glass door, shooting him once in the forehead and again in the arm. Ralph was forced to flee for his life as an irresponsible gun owner decided he would become the judge, jury, and executioner of a teenager who arrived at the wrong home. Now, first of all, I don't know how do you flee when you get shot in the forehead? That's pretty much not. I wouldn't likely think that you would survive that, but he did. So I'm not sure what happened there. Don't remember this particular story. But to use an example like that, to somehow compare that to someone who offs a killer in the act of shooting at a mall, how do you use that to make that comparison to try to offset that? But that's what they do. They confuse you. I just got to, let me see it. Just popped up just a second ago. I want to see if I can, so I didn't read it, so I should have it. Breaking news, Tampa, Florida. This is from Fox 13 in Tampa, Florida, my old stomping grounds. Tampa father found guilty of shooting children, killing one of them. Do we make that comparison to someone who used a gun defensively to save countless people or themselves? On the low end, 180,000 times a year. On the higher end, 2.5 million times a year. When 95% of the time a shot is never fired? No, because there are bad people on earth. There are murderers. There are women who drown their children in automobiles because they're having an affair and the guy they're having an affair with doesn't want kids. Yeah, remember her? You don't make that comparison. That's not comparing apples to apples. That's called gaslighting, ladies and gentlemen. The piece goes on from AmericanProgress.org. Every day, 327 people are shot in the United States. Of those, an estimated 117 die, while the other 210 deal with lifelong injuries.
30.
Yet, despite the harsh realities of gun violence, roughly half of Americans believe firearms increase safety by allowing law-abiding citizens to protect themselves. That's because it's true. And you don't compare a law-abiding citizen. I know, Greg, you hate that. But I'm making the comparison between law-abiding citizen and criminal. And there is a distinction. Some law-abiding citizens carry guns. Some law-abiding citizens carry pepper spray, mace, whatever they want to carry. Some law-abiding citizens don't carry anything. But you don't compare criminal activity against the law-abiding citizen who uses the firearm to defend themselves, like I did, by making that comparison. It's disingenuous. It's gaslighting. It's an outright bald-faced lie for one thing, for one purpose only, to gaslight you and flip the narrative. Guns are bad. No, guns are not bad. If guns were bad, the 450 to 500 million guns in this America in the hands of 150 million gun owners, ladies and gentlemen, you'd already know it. They're bad in the hands of criminals. And, let me correct that. The gun's not bad because the gun is an object. You follow me here? It's the criminal that's bad. Criminal actions and law-abiding citizens' actions are not equivalent. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense will get up and do it again tomorrow on Greg's favorite day of the week, of Friday. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. We'll see you on the radio.
You've just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Wall.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate it very much. A lot of fun stuff going on today to talk about.
I have a little bit of an Epstein update.
We do have an Epstein update from Greg. For those of you that are getting a little bit of the after the show. Greg, what do you got? I just looked for an update.
So,
didn't see anything.
one of the guys that goes by the handle of DC Drano on X, he's very popular.
Yeah, I've read him.
He says that I will be going live with the Epstein files given to me in the binder today momentarily. So, and that was 20 seconds ago when I saw it, which was probably about 5 minutes ago. So if you're on X and you follow DC Drano, look for a live and him going through the binder.
Okay, well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be it'll be a fun news evening, no doubt about it.
And I tweeted him just that. So. I said you should go live with this instead of just sitting on it.
All right, well, we'll see what happens, guys. It's going to be an interesting night of news, no question about it. There's a lot of people running scared, as they should be. So anyway, thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed the program today. We will be back tomorrow on a Friday with you. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense for the Friday, and then another big show coming up. We're working on bringing you Eli Crane, representative from Arizona, but his schedule will not permit him to come back on. Anticipated him coming on this Sunday, but his schedule would not permit that, so we're working very closely with Eli. He's a friend of mine, and his office to get him to whatever time he wants, he's going to get on the program. And Dr. John Lott will be here on Sunday as well for an hour, and we're going to cover this debunking the myth with John and some more self-defense shootings, and we'll see whatever else he's up to as well. So enjoy your day today, guys. Stay safe. We'll see you on the radio. Never leave your cave without your club. Done?
Yeah, and
done.